Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Rob Baer, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher, Mike Haspil, and Wyatt Turk. What's up, guys?
Yo, Doug. God bless you.
Greetings and felicitations.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
I don't know if Kenny's going to keep it in there, but I almost sneezed in the intro. It was rather hilarious.
That's after hours content. You got to pay for that.
Yeah, the sketchy deals and boner pills don't pay for that. That's separate. That's a la carte.
He doesn't have a good clean room downstairs for his manufacturing process, so a lot of dust and chemicals in the air.
You don't know that.
I do know you took like a 2-hour poop break during the after hours.
It was like 17 minutes.
Sorry, I exaggerated. Apologies. 17-minute poop break. Wyatt, earlier during taxes class, how did I start that when I was like, hey?
You went and did a real quick 3-minute shit.
I was like, yo, I gotta go torpedo this joint out real quick. I was back in 96. That's a healthy b-hole. Okay. You
got really good form. I mean, you must just get into a stance, like a mental prep.
No, I didn't. No.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it pick up on the mic. He was like, Kiop!
It's simple. You don't go to the bathroom until it's already coming out.
Oh, if you wait till the last second, it only takes a second.
Yeah. Literally. So if you're I think I have to go poop, then you sit in the bathroom until you have to poop. Why would you waste that time in life? Just let it. Oh, it's happening. Let's go.
Yes.
Get on my
level. I endeavor to be on your level. The next level.
Oh, nice. Nice.
It's my joke for the week. I'm going to savor it.
Time is money. That's right. That's right, Chet. So, we got to talk about poop right out the gate. We haven't done that in years.
Not once.
Huh? We've got almost nothing to talk about this week except
poop.
We do have the new Deathguard previews. That's exciting.
In part 9 and 10 of, I can't remember a time there wasn't a Deathguard preview.
Yeah, because it's basically just been Warhammer 40K Deathguard. That's all we have.
Past month.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, we could do some wild speculations because there's some solid clues out there about what the next releases were supposed to be.
Oh, okay. We should do that. That's we don't have much. Quick, make some content for us.
Okay, I'm on it.
So then let's turn it over to Wyatt then. Wyatt, give us our second 2021. Would you rather?
Would you rather Danny DeVito or Danny McBride play you in a movie based on your life?
Danny McBride all day or day. Not even for obvious reasons.
I'm going to go with Danny DeVito, actually, because I think his humor is just it's more subtle than McBride's.
It's so subtle. I've been watching a ton of Always Sunny lately because I didn't realize there was 15 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when they made 15 seasons, but I'm a few behind, if you know what I'm saying. And they did this one episode where it's a day in the life of Frank. And you're literally POV, Danny DeVito's character. And it's just so you can hear the internal monologue with himself. And he's like, all right, say something cool. And and it's just so funny how he just deadpan delivers everything.
Yeah.
I can see Danny DeVito doing Mike Haspil's life. It would be perfect in some situations, right? Just utterly perfect. In other situations, it would be so opposite of what you think it should be. But I think that would make it even fucking funnier.
Yeah.
And in the moments where it's not funny, I think he would do a pretty good job. But
Yeah, I mean, he has more depth, I think. Is that?
are you just trying to say that your life story would require an actor with more depth?
Than Danny McBride. Although, don't get me wrong, I think Danny McBride could nail the shit out of it. But there's some highs and there's some lows. Like
He wouldn't have to do much to pretend to be me for like 90 minutes of screen time. He would just maybe tone it back a little bit sometimes.
That's true. I don't know.
Eastbound and down. God.
Such a good.
Danny
Didn't
DeVito.
come
I
back
like
for a
how
couple
they're both
episodes.
Danny's and they're both so fucking opposite. I went back and rewatched 30 minutes or less. Gone in like 30 minutes or less. Do you guys remember that? It's like a comedy that came out several years ago. Probably longer. It's probably like a decade. But it's Aziz Ansari and fuck, what's that cat's name? Who's the main character in Zombieland?
Michael Cera,
No,
Woody Harrelson.
no, the kid. Like the dude, the other guy who's not Woody Harrelson.
Michael Cera.
No, it's
No.
not Michael
No,
Cera.
it's the
Michael
guy-
Cera was arrested.
He played
With the curly
Social
hair.
Network.
Social Network. He was also Lex Luthor.
Yeah. Jesse Eisenberg.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Him and Aziz Ansari and Danny McBride. Danny McBride basically gets this idea where he's gonna like rob a bank by strapping a bomb to a delivery boy. And that's basically like they're like that. We're gonna make a movie about that. Let's figure the rest out. And it's fucking good. So rewatched that recently. So maybe I'm a little biased with my Danny McBride pick. I haven't put a lot of thought into this. I'd also take Aziz Ansari to play me.
He would do a good job.
Is that it? We don't have. I mean, it's just like almost a straight question. Wyatt.
I mean, it is a would you rather. Yeah.
It's just like I'd rather Danny McBride. It's just didn't have to put a lot of thought into it.
I want to see like Danny DeVito play a young Michael Haspil in the Air Force Academy,
Yeah.
but he's like 70 years old. Like that would be hilarious.
Legit. I felt 70, so it's all good. It works.
Isn't DeVito like 4'10"?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's very short.
Oh, it's even
Short
better.
dude. Yeah, he's definitely a short dude.
I didn't realize he was actually that short. I thought he was like at least 5 feet tall.
No.
That's
We're all good at something.
all right. Fuck it. Do the news.
More time to talk about Titans.
All right.
Yeah.
Isn't the new book that's coming out about Titans, about Titan Legions,
More just
the Solar War one? Right?
Yeah. More just
Well, it has the big Titan Legion thing on the cover.
Yeah. It's gonna be good. I'll probably wait till it's in paperback.
I'll wait for the audiobook.
That too. So finally we get a Deathguard release. Yay. It is allocated. So if you're gonna try to score some of these sweet followers of Nurgle, you're probably gonna want to call ahead or get some pre-orders in at your local game store here. Very
Way ahead of
shortly.
you on that one.
You're already locked in.
Oh yeah.
So there's the new Lord of Virulence. He's $35 US, allocated to 5. The new Combat Patrol box is allocated to 5. It's $140. Not a big shocker there. The Poxwalkers are re-releasing in a different format. They previously were in I want to say a box of 5 for $15. Now they are a box of 10 for $35. So I guess it went up. Allocated to 5. Deathguard
math.
Codex is allocated to 30, $50 US. The data cards are $25 US, allocated to 10. And the new terrain piece, the miasmic magnifier servo galvan.
Malignifier. Oh,
Yeah.
I got it. The galvanic magnevent plague furnace.
Yeah, that thing. $60 US. Not super shocking, but
$60. Get the fuck out!
Man,
of here.
I got a
Spicy
digital
STL
version of that for $5 earlier today. Cost me 68 cents in resin.
How will you ever financially recover?
I don't know, man. Do not know.
And that's all the big stuff. There's going to be some special order web store Lord of the Rings things, some releases there. And of course, if you're after the limited edition Black Library books, I think Mortis and was it Gate of Bones? What's that called, Haspil?
Yeah, Gate of Bones. That's the one I'm after.
Those will be up on the web store around 1 Eastern.
Yep.
And obviously pretty limited. So
yeah, only 2,000 copies of each, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. So that's going to be fast and furious on all that. Also, we ran an article today on the site. Noticed that what was it? The inspiration for Dirty Mike and the Boys, Lord Felsis, or whatever his name is, the ETB Deathguard kit from the holidays in 2017 is going for over $100 new in box on eBay. I guess They don't make them anymore. It's not on GW's site. So if you're after that cat, well, he might cost you some money if you're after that new in box plastic smell. But if not, I'm sure there's other ways you could find them if you're into that sort of thing. New release still. There's actually not a whole lot coming out from a lot of different manufacturers. Cromlech had a big announcement that they're going to have some stuff in the works, some big announcements next week. I did just notice over on Pop Goes the Monkeys website that they have some new plague weapons in their store, right? Meow. Looks like some swords, some storm bolters, and hey, look at that, a flail. Huh. Wonder what people could use that for. So those are up over, it looks like they're orderable right now.
The old Monkey Resin site?
The old, they're in Monkey Resin too.
What about that Demon Prince? Did you say that already?
He's been out for a few weeks. What's his name? Grossbloom Demon Prince, big fly guy. He's pretty dope. He is up on there for sale right now too.
Cronenberg Demon Prince.
Yeah, there you go. Cronenberg universe. Looking to see what else is. Not a whole lot. Now, over on the Spikey Bits 3D made to order marketplace, we will have the sci-fi ATV up for pre-order tomorrow, and it'll be up for pre-order for a week, so we know how many to make. So if you want it, please order it.
And people may not know this, but there's actually some really cool models on that site.
There's over 1,000 products on that site.
I may have ordered a lot of things recently.
Can't confirm. It's just a cool way to help not only promote a lot of artists out there that have extensive miniature categories or portfolios, but it's just an awesome way to direct traffic back to their digital endeavors, but also produce miniatures, that we can sell too, because we got into that vertical as well. So it's been pretty exciting around here. Besides all the long poops we've been taking lately. The GW half-year report came out, the full report, not the abridged version. And if you haven't read it and you have a few minutes, if you're taking a 17-minute poop, by the way, and you're bored out of your mind, you may want to give it a read, because there's actually a lot to be gleaned from it. And I didn't even catch a lot of it the first time I read it. Now, obviously, their numbers are up. They have proven that we don't even need events to buy stuff. So, which is kind of crazy when you think about it in general. It's a very interesting concept and precedent to have proven in this challenging times here. Now, I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty on the numbers, but the numbers are just astounding. It's incredible to see, and it's incredible the way it happened. As far as I can tell, right around 9 million was just an Indominus, just that first week.
Wow.
out of their 30 million profit right off the bat. Like, hey, we made 30 million. And as far as I can tell, just off that first initial launch, about 9 million. Crazy.
Off the whole 9th edition launch or just Indominus?
Just Indominus.
Wow. That is really impressive.
Now, yeah. And that doesn't include that does include the made to order, but that doesn't include, you know, how they did the Russian nesting doll of re-releasing all the starter sets and everything, like over the couple of weeks after that. So it's, I mean, the writing's on the wall as far as this stuff goes.
That box was like it was a sick deal. Like
it still is.
It was like $600 worth of stuff in there.
It's pretty incredible. You can still find them out there in a lot of different places.
Like the Walmarts.
Like the Walmart marketplace, as a matter of fact. I like that. We'll get more into why that's relevant here in a minute. Let me read you some stuff here and just a quick couple of excerpts. They basically said, hey, we're almost finished up with our new warehouse. Great. And that the summer 2021 for the UK, they will be doing the goods operation. So their brand new facility, what they had planned. And I actually missed this the first time in my read through. Now I'm going to read this excerpt. Okay. So our old finished goods warehouse in Nottingham is planned to be reconfigured as an on-site component warehouse and offer us some space to support production of paint and resin miniatures.
Really?
So to me, what that is saying is their existing warehouse, which is where they make Forge World, where they make all their plastic kits, where they import and warehouse also paints and all sorts of different things, all the stuff from China that comes in, they process it, they kick it back out to the Euros. All of that facility is just going to be kicked over to making paint and Forge World. And then the facility they're building across the street is going to be straight production, like gangbusters, which if you look on the map, it's significantly bigger.
Well, finally, we've been waiting forever for this new production facility. Yeah.
Takes a couple of years to build that stuff up. So it was an interesting tell there because remember 2 summers ago, they made all their stores buy that $5,000 paint rack and all those new paints. So does that mean that here in a couple of years, when they get their paint, they're making their own paints because they don't make their own paints right now, that they're going to redo that rack in all those colors? Like, I'd be on the lookout for that.
Oh.
It's not the first time that they've revamped their entire paint line and changed the names of everything. So
yes,
they'll probably do that again.
But this will be the first time that it's like them.
Correct.
But, I mean, luckily at this point, I think by the time that actually happens, I think the community has gotten pretty comfortable not using GW paints now.
There is
if I were
so many different paints.
If I were them, I think this would be the time to switch over to paint bottles instead of those shitty
droppers.
pots.
Yep.
That would be an absolute
that would be a huge win. I still use Citadel paints though, but I'm a scrub compared to you guys. You guys are all like I just discovered Procro like a freaking month ago. So
did you guys know about this?
I was like, yeah, legit.
Straight up.
Have you guys used this? This is really good product.
Yeah.
So good.
And I am one of those heathens that paints from the pot too. I know better. That's what's wrong. Is like I know I should use.
See, that's the thing. I personally don't have a problem with the GW pots. I think all pots suck, right?
Well, the problem I have with them is that it's Colorado. Paint comes here to die. It just dries out.
But to your point of paint from the pot, like I think that when you think of it that way, where like a standard hobbyist isn't going to have a wet palette or any type of palette, right? They might have a paper towel, a paintbrush, and a pot. When you think of it in that context, GW pots are fucking dope. Because that little lip right there is your little fucking palette.
Yeah.
So until you graduate out of that, I mean, that wasn't even on my list of reasons I didn't like GW pins. Actually, and there's almost no thing on like the only thing on that list that I have where I don't like them is I just don't like how much they cost.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, GW.
Well played. Well played. So we'll have to see how that all sorts out. But it's good. I think seeing this allocations for this week that they're actually higher than what they were in December is a good thing. Hopefully doing these new releases every 2 weeks or so, like they're saying, will allow them to get more product out to stores, whether it's their own store, whether it's, your local game store, distribution, etc. It seems like that's the case so far, but I talked with a lot of stores. I was like, what do you think about the allocations? And they're like, well, obviously I would like more. I don't need 30 books. And a couple of choice words about the data cards. But other than that, they seem pretty happy that, they can at least get some stuff in and start making some sales.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what the next release has in store. And now, if you missed it too, that orc coin that was spotted, but then we couldn't tell if it was like a Photoshop or whatever. One was spotted on eBay with both sides of the packaging. So it looks like it's legit. It looks like orcs are the next GW
what was
in
on
store.
the other side?
Well, it was the other side of the packaging, so you could tell it was like real, not just like the front.
You couldn't see the backside of the coin.
You still can't. Yeah, you couldn't see the backside of the coin, but it was the backside of the package. You could tell it was like the front, and I think it sold for over $100. Right. So what it looks like was that they're doing a Sigmar, then a 40K, then a Sigmar, because the Hedonites of Slaanesh was supposed to be January's coin, and then a 40K, which means orcs most likely were supposedly supposed to be the big February release. Now it's probably like April or May, even at this point, depending on how things go. So, there's a lot of other clues out there. I don't want to get too into it and save some content maybe for next week about how we can kind of read the room on what releases are probably were supposed to be for 2021, but maybe might end up not being.
Wyatt, if it's orcs next, you know what happens whenever Orc Codex comes out for us.
Oh, yeah, we go super hypey and then drop it immediately.
We suspend all projects, go super hard on orcs, then get super disappointed with orcs, and then realize we should just stay committed to our other projects.
I don't know, man. If they come out with new orc boys, like if they give them like an update for a lot of their crappy old models.
I don't know. It sounds like exactly like the recipe for making us go super high on orcs again and keep losing it.
Well, I think one of the things that the reason they cropped that preview of that work miniature so much is because if they showed just an iota more, you would be able to tell if it's like a commando or a tank buster or just a new boy in general. Cause those three things right there would be super hype for a lot of people.
Yeah. This is just me, but if I were like, let's just say like tomorrow I got offered a job as like a high level decision maker at GW. And I was like tasked with like looking at where stuff is now and like how to fix a lot of stuff moving forward. Their whole pricing model for like model by model basis is built off of like what people buy the most of. Like the reason an HQ is $35 is because you can only ever have so many of them in an army, right?
Right.
Captain is $35. You can only have one captain per detachment in an army, so a maximum of 3. Meaning that like bare minimum, a single customer might only ever buy 3 captain models in their entire lifetime, right? Whereas troop choices, a box of 10 Primaris Marines is $60 and you get 10 of them. So it's like 2 squads, but you can always use more troops, right? Like I can build an entire Ultramarines army and then I'm like, ooh, you know what? I'm feeling Black Templars. I need to get more Primaris Marines. So like I'm always going to buy more Intercessors, right? So if you look at the full range of 40K right now, some of the oldest and worst kits still on the shelf is the core troop choices of the factions.
That's true.
Some hold up better than others. Like
I can name 3: Guardians, Catachans, Cadians.
Yep. So
Dire Avengers.
orcs.
Orc.
Like we still have things like Khorne Berserkers that are like 20 years old, that kind of stuff. So it's like, if it were my decision, I would go in and I'd be like, core troops for all factions that aren't up to the current level of everything else. That should be a priority, not one faction at a time. Because if people are incentivized to get into a faction, it doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't matter that they don't have a hot new rule book, because even if there's a hot new rule book, people pass up on it because they're like, man, this new Orc Codex is like fucking baller and it looks so fun, but the models suck, right? Or what's going to happen is people are going to buy your rule book and then shell out the majority of their hobby money to a different company, which is like, I'm fine with as a hobbyist. But if I was in this hypothetical GW position, I'd want to make sure that people buy all their models from us. So I don't know, like they still do things that are really old fashioned. And I think they're always going to be locked into like, we only do one faction at a time, no matter what. And it's like, it's kind of dumb. Like there's a lot of your stuff that needs to get updated, and doing it this way is like not good for the community.
I think those are some interesting points for sure. Why we're definitely at a tipping point for a lot of things. One, because of their constant, focus on same quarter profits and putting stuff out. We got to keep the money going. We can't let the bus go under 55 miles an hour. They have opened up a lot of holes. We'll call them plot holes in their IP. From rebooting Fantasy to Age of Sigmar to even just the Primaris project, right? That there is so much opportunity for different companies to make miniatures and have them fit into this universe pretty much one for a lot of parts. And you don't even have to like copy GW stuff. Like you can just make something that's inspired by and very close to, and it works just fine. And I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but I'm saying when you can show a preview and literally a week later, some dude that just started 3D design can have an exact copy of what you just showed on the screen up for download on some random site, like your designs are not that tight. It's the IP that keeps people bringing back. But when there's those plot holes in it, that you can just insert things into, it's a slippery slope. And I've
heard a lot of people that agree with you on that.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword.
I know who you're talking about.
So for a long time, we were in this situation where they would tell us nothing, right? We had no idea about anything until they were like, hey, pre-order next week, right? That's how they would drop shit. Like no hype building, no like previews of any kind, none of that shit. It'd just be like, hey, next week, new Necron Codex, first one since 4th edition. And we're like, holy shit.
Where'd that come from?
And then over time, as we've gotten into 8th edition and we had this huge, injection into the dead body of the community over the past 3 years, there's a lot of people that are like, hey, this whole thing of like not telling us anything for long periods of time, like really sucks and it's stupid, and people lose interest. And so now they're in this thing where it's like, okay, we'll tell you about stuff, but they don't deliver it in a timely manner, right? So like a great example is like new 8th edition or new 9th edition, all this new shit, new Space Marines, all this cool shit, and they show stuff off, but then it's just like, yeah, we'll tell you whenever. Like we still don't know when Heavy Intercessors are coming out. And we've known about those for like 6 months, right? I mean,
it's possible a lot of that stuff was supposed to come out when the Dark Angels release.
Right, yeah, possibly. But this has been going on for a while, like over the past 3 years. So it's like they need to find out a way to like hype stuff up without showing their hand too early. Or if they're going to hype stuff up, like they can't sit on it for long periods of time. Or else people are just going to be like, well, I can 3D sculpt a Space Marine just as good as you can. And then I'm going to put my design out and people are going to print it. And then there's no reason for us to buy your product.
Yeah. And there's a lot of challenges. It's not just that. That's the challenge in a best case scenario. But right now we have we live in a COVID world where things are getting delayed and they've already got things out there. And now it's like just in a queue and now you just gain bonus time. So like if you're an independent model company, you have all the time in the world to come up with a marketing strategy. I
think this is a stupid discussion. Didn't you just say they made $30 million of profit?
And that's what's.
I'm just saying. Like I feel like
it's still okay. That is true.
And 9 million of it was just Indominus.
You could make the argument that this is great. Bubbles happen. And you could make the argument that they might be sacrificing the future because all these problems aren't going away. And not only that, but they're getting bigger. So, I mean, if they stay ahead of the curve, they stay ahead of the curve. But you could make the argument it's just a house of cards at this point, right? It's hard to say. But there is an underlying danger to the hobby for sure. At least I feel that way. But yeah, they're doing great. So maybe
our advice is meaningless to them. They made $30 million. They only care about money. But you're right. This community, what community?
That was the increase in sales and also profit. They made
the increase. And, oh my God, get the fuck.
Way more than $30 million. But yes, it's hard to say. But there's
we'll have to see when this shit ramps back up and things are stable again. Then we'll get to determine if their short-term plan deteriorated their long-term goals. Like
that will be a good litmus test.
Because we have so many caveats right now. It's like what, but this would have been this if this didn't happen because of this, last year.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I think it's definitely something to be aware of and keep your eye on.
Is there some kind of website I can go to stay up to date on this shit?
Shadydeals.com.
Do you own that domain?
God, I wish I did.
Can you get shadydeals.xxx or something?
That'd be dope.
Get that as a redirect.
I would say that there's definitely sales can go even higher because if they just had stock, they would sold so much more. So many people are just trying to get
right, but that's a caveat, right? We have another caveat. It's like
yeah. So like,
we're not going to really know. I mean, predictions are predictions. Gut feelings are gut feelings, and you're mostly right. You haven't been wrong that many times since I've known you. Yeah,
I like that. Rob Baer, he's mostly right.
Yes,
I could go with that. I like that.
You like that? Oh, and you're stupid looking.
Oh, thank you. There we go.
There we go.
There it is. Yes. Yes. Now we did notice, and I'm sure Haspil has a lot to say about this. There was some information put out there. It looks like there's some new McFarlane action figures coming out, and one in particular. So I have the schedule here, the release schedule for the new McFarlane figures, but I'll let Haspil tell you more about it.
I do not have the release schedule, but yeah, there's the new Sisters coming out, and McFarlane himself was spotted holding a Blood Angel, which looked incredible, looked really, really good. The Sister looks really fantastic. And Rob told me about it. So he said, I think it's a Walmart exclusive. So I was like, oh, I got to get over to the Walmarts and order that. So I went in there and I didn't notice that I don't use it that much. I didn't notice it was actually a marketplace. So I just typed in Warhammer 40K just to like get to the Sister. And I discovered that there was an artist proof of the Necron, there at Walmart. That is a Walmart exclusive. So I ordered that. And then the Sister was up for pre-order. But it was showing out of stock. I think it was but it's pre-order. It's not up there yet. And I really dig that model. The only thing I don't like about it is that the Sister's wearing her helmet, which is ironic because when I do my Sisters, except for the new ones, because I haven't actually built them yet, all my old Sisters are wearing helmets because I didn't want to paint the faces. So I can't hate on it too much, but I kind of wanted the McFarlane one not to be wearing her helmet.
That's right, Kara Quinn. Walmart exclusively.
Yeah, Walmart exclusive. So
I think it's wild. You can buy Warhammer models.
Yeah.
Walmart
And
now.
one of the things I was going to say is that when I typed in Warhammer 40K into their online store, which is like a marketplace also, they have a lot of Warhammer 40K on there, a ton. So if you're looking for something on eBay or on the GW store and you can't find it, ironically, try Walmart.com.
Yeah.
They still had like Indominus boxes.
Man, I have mixed feelings on this. One, I think it's cool because like there's Walmarts everywhere. So like the odds of you having a Walmart in your town compared to having a local game shop in your town or even a Games Workshop in your town is like way higher. So it would increase the accessibility of the hobby. On the other side of that coin,
these are in store though. I don't think these were in store.
They will
just
be
online.
yeah, there will be.
No,
They
the
will.
McFarlane stuff will be in store.
Oh, yeah.
The stuff I'm talking about that I found by accident is not in store. Like,
No, that's just marketplace stuff.
Yeah,
You're not
they
going to
don't have
walk into
Indominus
Walmart.
in a Walmart.
Yeah, you're not going to walk into Walmart. and find
Okay, I
40K
misunderstood
on
what
the
you're
shelf.
telling me because that's what really surprised me. I was like, oh shit, you just walk into Walmart and buy 40K now?
No. This was
Not
on
yet.
their
Wait till I score.
Walmart.com like marketplace.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So the release schedule looks like the Primaris Space Marine Lieutenant, the Blood Angel one, that McFarlane was spotted holding up on his Instagram IGTV story, is March 2021. It's a Walmart exclusive. It's the third gold label figure I think he's put out. So that's a new series from him.
Mm-hmm.
The Primaris Space Marine Hellblaster is going to be a GameStop exclusive in April, along with the
They're
artist.
still
proof.
open?
So funny you should mention that, Haspil. GameStop stock is crazy up right now.
Really?
Crazy money. There is a thread on Reddit right now of this dude that made $5 million off GameStop stock today.
Yeah, but when he tries to sell it, they're going to give him $3 for it.
Dude, I think he sold
Or trade in value.
dog.
Yeah.
So they announced that they're going to pivot to more online and less retail and start closing a lot of stores. I mean, they have a name. Netflix was basically hard copy goods for a number of years, right? And they pivoted.
Yeah.
So, and also sad news, the final video chain in America closed down this week as well. Family Video. Very sad.
Oh. Well, and then didn't GameStop, didn't they partner with ThinkGeek? Didn't they absorb ThinkGeek?
Yeah, to sell all their chintzy doodads and
I want the Tauntaun
baubles
backpack.
and what in the stores.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a while.
The Battle Sister painted version is a Walmart and GameStop exclusive also in April, and the artist proof is also GameStop and Walmart exclusive for April.
Wow.
So wild.
None of them apparently are going to be on Amazon.
That's okay because Amazon didn't deliver my stuff. They canceled my order.
I don't think you're
on
the only
spot.
one.
Must have been some kind of logistics snafu with that whole thing. So I got mine from Amazon.
In Amazon's defense, I ordered 5 of them. So
Amazon has been stealth canceling shit on me for years.
Yeah, they stealth canceled it. They were just like, "Oh, you wanted 5, you get 0."
I'll get 16 emails confirming that I bought something, plus a picture of it delivered to my doorstep, and then when they cancel one, I don't get a notification. It's
Yeah, I got no notification, nothing. One time I did catch it because it said if you don't act that you still want this, we're going to cancel it. And I just happened to log in and see that message. But there was no email, nothing. And so my guess is they sent another.
I was going to say, it seems like Amazon has had the same point of sale protection problems as a lot of other big box stores this year. They're just, it hasn't been vocal about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was legit going to make a kill team at McFarlane scale.
Hopefully all these businesses learn from this year and put some form of point of sale protection in their carts. So if one person adds 5 Space Marines to their cart, it automatically subtracts 5 from the total stock rather than they only have 100 to sell, but they sell 500 of them, and then 400 people get that email that's like, "Oh, sucks to suck, nerd."
How am I supposed to get my 16 PS5s and slick them on eBay though?
I want to make two points that I think are very important to this conversation. First of all, GW doesn't have that protection either, and it's long been rumored that a lot of people utilize bots and things to get in on the limited edition stuff on like Saturdays when they drop. But the problem is, or not the problem, that their trade sales and their online will actually go back through and look at the orders. And if somebody orders, if they notice a bunch of suspicious stuff, they will actually go and void the orders on the back end. But then I don't know what they do with the merchandise on the front end. Where do you put it?
I know that is a fact where they do that. I've had to do that myself a couple of times. Like there was some people that thought they could beat the system with some of this limited edition stuff where it's like 1 or 2 per account. And so they would make like 5 or 6 different accounts and then order it all from the kiosk and then go through the register. And then like a week later, when trade sales was like, "Oh, hey, it's like 6 of these orders, but it's all on the same credit card," like they would cancel all but one, or they just cancel the whole thing. And people would like post on Reddit and get all pissy about it. I'm like, well, 1 per customer means 1 per customer, dude. Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think their system is really stupid. It's like, what does Rick say in that one episode where he's like, once something reaches like 3 levels of contrivance, like I stop caring? Or that's how he short circuits the robot, right?
Oh yeah, the one that was like, well, I already planned.
Yeah, like I programmed 3 levels of redundant like contrivance so it'll kill itself. Like that's basically how sales work at a Games Workshop location, where it's like what should happen, because they have an online store kiosk there, is that you should just check out there, right? It's not how it works. You add to cart, check out, then you have to manually print a piece of paper that prints out underneath the desk. Then you grab that piece of paper, scan that into the register, and then they pay for it. And then that confirms the order, which is preposterous. And it is rife with issues with orders and all sorts of stuff. It's like almost every single time there's a large pre-order, like 1 to 3 or 4 people gets like screwed over because of how stupid that system is. And again, they don't have that point of sale protection. So if they have 100 sets of Indomitus and 400 people check out within the first 20 minutes of it going for sale, like all of a sudden they're like, oops, we sold too many. And then they have to like figure out a way to like, fix that in their ledgers. And like a bunch of people get screwed over.
Mm-hmm. I think that's, I personally am shocked that they still have sales reps, that the stores just can't. I go to a GW like special page portal, put in their order, Dunskies. Like, hey, okay, cool. I'm allocated. Like, program it in. I'm allocated to 5.
Cars can park themselves, dog. Like, why can't I just order my own shit?
Yeah, like, why do they have to get on the phone with a rep that has too many accounts and doesn't have enough time in the day to actually interface with all of his or her, because there's a lot of lady trade reps. Accounts. I think it's pretty stupid.
It's 2021. Ladies can do things too, Rob.
Well, back in my day, there wasn't any lady sales reps, so I digress. I know there are now, and that's great.
Back in your day.
But
what are you, 50?
No way. Not even close.
Is Rob 50, guys? Please tell me.
Now that all that being said, I do want to mention and give a shout out to Games Workshop, because in their financial report, they said the following. During December, our warehouse capacity in Memphis was on occasion stretched to its limits. And despite an incredible team performance, our service levels were not as great as we would have liked. We apologize to our customers for any inconvenience caused and appreciate the support they showed us during that period.
Nice.
Games Workshop actually apologized, y'all.
Classy. Good deal.
Well played. So that was nice to see.
For sure. All right. Well, want to talk about some Deathguard real quick?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Well, I'll let Wyatt pull up the info and lead us, but I want to begin with a little anecdote. You guys know that Mike Haspil once had a Deathguard army and played Chaos?
Get the fuck out of here.
One time. Yes, I played one game, and I did have a Deathguard army. It was Cthulhu based. There are pictures of it around.
There's pictures of him actually playing Chaos Space Marines. at my old trailer up in the old Woodland Park Beats Lab.
Woodland Park, yeah.
The Woody P.
Yep.
And it was for an eBay flip, right? You were flipping it for eBay.
Right. I had won a bunch of prize support and gotten a bunch of different stuff over the years that was Chaos. And it was like random stuff, like a Defiler and a Land Raider and
Demon Princes
and a Papa Nurgle, a big, but I don't think it was like the GW Papa Nurgle. It was like oh man, I can't remember.
Yeah, it was some crazy shit. I remember it.
It was good though. It was a great model.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
I still have pictures of it on my website, but that was the only time I played it.
So
played it once.
So we're all Chaos players here, is what I'm saying. So
no, I felt dirty. I had to go home and take like 30 showers.
I was very disappointed with it. Wyatt, so what happened since we last podcast?
Well, we got a couple of cool little preview articles talking about some new Deathguard stuff. First of which showed off a new thing from Mortarion, where he actually gets multiple warlord traits, right? We kind of already knew this. They showed the data sheet, which is slowly we're figuring out now that is not the real data sheet. It's not the full data sheet. Because they're like, oh, well, here's his actual warlord traits. And so it's one of those tables where it says, like, if it's a named character, it must have this warlord trait. Well, he actually gets 3. He gets Revoltingly Resilient, Living Plague, and Arch Contaminator all at the same time. And then at the start of the game, his other special rule kicks in where he gets to pick one of the Plague Company warlord traits for that game, which I am sure is going to spark debate on how that actually functions, but it's for another time. And then they talk about how Poxwalkers are changed ever so slightly, a little bit of change. They still have a 7-up save, but they get to keep the Feel No Pain. Like they still have like a Feel No Pain roll since they don't technically have a save. And then they showed off a couple more little warlord traits. The first one is for the droning, and it's a contagion ability, like all of the warlord traits we've seen so far. It says, while an enemy unit is within contagion range of this unit, at the start of your opponent's movement phase, have all enemy units move characteristic until the end of the phase.
I'm fucking a big fan of that one. Especially,
it is really cool.
Especially with the word on the street of how easy it's going to be to extend a contagion auras all over the place.
Yeah, and like this is definitely one of those things. We've seen this like anytime there's a preview, there's always like one or two things that immediately jump out as like, oh, this is hype. Like they showed off the Ironclad Furnace when they were showing off War of the Spider, and everybody was like, oh, this is the coolest shit ever, right? And then over time, we figure out that it's like, okay, this is cool. Like on paper, it jumps out at you, but actually this other thing that's in the book with these synergies is like the real heat. But like on the face of it, on paper, this is a dope ability. It's super cool.
It's going to be pretty easy to like bog down the enemy in a quagmire of reduced movement speed and fucking other effects. Like, so I like that.
Well, this is a warlord trait, so it's like one guy doing it. But yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, one guy, but it's not hard to manipulate the distances, certain combos, and I'm sure there's going to be more stratagems and stuff.
Yeah. Like I've seen a lot of discussion where immediately the first thing that people are saying is like, oh, I'll put this on Mortarion like all the time because, you know, he's got a spell that'll increase his range to 12 inches. And then it's like, yeah, so it's like on paper, it's really cool. But is this going to be as cool as people initially think it is? Remains to be seen. And then the next one is called Nurgle's Fruit. While an enemy unit is within contagion range, each time an attack is made by a friendly Mortarian's Chosen Sons model against that unit, the target does not receive the benefits of cover against that attack.
Things that take away cover are always good.
Yeah, very useful. Then they talk about Death Shroud Terminators, who have been super spicy in the past, even more spicy now. And mainly what they show off here is how their scythes get a dual profile now. So they have like a heavy hitting attack, and then they have a
sweeper.
Like a sweeper attack. So
Man Reaper, it can fucking spin around and fuck shit up, or it can just bring it down like an axe.
Right. And so the cleave is +3 strength, -3 AP, 2 damage, but because they're swinging real hard, it's -1 on the attack roll.
But don't be upset because they want to weapon skill 2.
Yeah, real nice. So and then they have the scythe, which is +1 strength, -1 AP, 1 damage, but you get 2 attacks for every roll instead.
Double attacks.
Mm-hmm. Really, really neato.
It's dope.
Kind of talks about how like they don't have Cataphracti Terminator armor anymore, so they have like regular Terminator plate. So instead of a 2 up, 4 up, and then like a 4-inch movement, and then you cut in half, charge and advance rolls, it's just regular Terminator. So 2 up, 5 up, and then the 5-inch movement.
So they're faster, they hit harder, they have a better weapon skill. That's, I mean, and they're only 50 points each, right?
Yeah.
As confirmed in the new update, so that's off of 47 points. So they didn't even go up that much. Like 3 fucking points. Some new buffs.
Let's see.
What about their little chime, their jingle bell?
They haven't said what that does in any article. So all we know is that the Chimes of Contagion are 15-point upgrade, which it seems like it's supposed to be on the leader model. Because all we know from the points that we got in the Munitorum update in the FAQ is that the additional Plague Spirit Gauntlet is 5 points, and the Jingle Bells are 15 points.
The commander used to be able to take a free extra gauntlet. So now they're saying, nah, 5 points. And a new upgrade. So they're pretty fucking good, and I've always loved Death Shroud Terminators, and I think that, they got better in many ways. They lost their form invulnerable, obviously, but Wyatt, you pointed out to me earlier when I lamented to that subject. Don't forget they have 3 wounds and -1 damage.
Oh, yeah.
And they're probably still a bodyguard in some capacity. We don't know what that capacity is, though. But I can see some really powerful combos with these guys.
Okay, so hidden in one of these little blurbs, it does mention the chimes. It adds 3 inches to their contagion.
That's what I see. I'd heard that, but I wasn't certain I was supposed to say that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like on all the other stuff, they have like an underline or it's bolded. Like Cataphracti Terminator and Inexorable Advance is underlined, but then the Chimes of Nurgle is not.
I'm mentally juggling things I'm not supposed to say with things that I think, so I can't remember if I read that. But yeah, see, that's another one of those range extenders, right? So having them extend the range in these little pockets, like they're going to be a powerful little fucking unit. And I think it's interesting because before, when you looked at Death Shrouds, it was like, stand near Mortarion, then Mortarion flies off. That's all I use them for. Well, now they're more versatile than that. They can move around much faster. They're tougher, and they have this cool ass upgrade. Like, so now, kind of feeling like pockets of 3 of these guys are really powerful. Especially, if you consider that it's likely that we're gonna have an apothecary now. Finally, just like just like our good
Plague
guy
Surgeon,
friends.
Yeah, the Plague Surgeon is going to be really cool. Just like Power from Pain, which is the Dark Eldar, like turn by turn snowball effect kind of deal. Deathguard are going to be really, really spicy. Like turn 3, which we've talked about before as like the backbreaking turn, like the most important turn of the game, is where they kind of start to reach their crescendo. Like they don't get the maximum plague range until turn 4. But in turn 3, it's still like 7 inches. And so a lot of your heavy hitting units are already going to be in range to like get stuck in on turn 3, which is where all that stuff like really starts getting nasty. And then like turn 3 is also when you're going to be like duking it out over primary objectives a lot of the time, to really try to like take the lead in primary objectives by turn 3. So having those Contagions ability be at 7-inch range, and then you can have extenders and different buffs for those and like psychic powers and all that. Like turn 3 is going to be exceptionally nasty.
Yeah. And to George's point in the chat, just like I like to call George out sometimes. I don't believe, George, that Deathstroke Terminator is going to be able to bodyguard for models with more than 10 ones.
Right. So one of the things we talked about in the pre-show is that Games Workshop learned some hard lessons in the last edition with how bodyguard stuff, where it's like you have this nigh indestructible character who can then also pass off wounds to bodyguard units as like ablative wounds. And in too many rules interactions, that was super OP. It was like busted. And so now bodyguard stuff is, at least for like this side of stuff, like with the Xenos thing, it's still kind of weird. But on our side of the board, they've shifted the bodyguard stuff to keep characters from being targetable rather than passing wounds off. So a good example is the Vitrix Guard. So in 8th edition, Bobby G would pass failed wounds onto the Vitrix Guard as mortal wounds until those guys died, right? Whereas now, as long as there's even a single Vitrix Guard within 3 inches of him, he cannot be targeted unless you snipe him or you're in close combat with him. And so like, I'm thinking that Death Shroud are going to get that same change. And Morty is too big to character block anyways. So that rule would then not apply to him, but it would apply to all of the other characters in the Deathguard Codex.
I mean, and I'm not ruling out that they're still going to be his bodyguard because that's kind of their thing, you know, but was that their thing when he was a demon Primarch? You know what I mean? So yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that's not how they're going to be played anymore, right? But I'm also excited for Mortarion's 3 warlord traits, like you mentioned earlier, and his 4th. And with the fact that we don't know what all those warlord traits are, but some of them we can kind of figure out by what they are currently called and what they currently do and what names they are. So I've got some high hopes for Mortarion's survivability.
I have a prediction that one of the Plague Company warlord traits, like the reworked ones we haven't seen yet, is going to be some form of defensive warlord trait. And so he's going to have Revoltingly Resilient, Living Plague, Arch Contaminator, and then some kind of defensive warlord trait he can choose from. And that's probably going to be the best choice. So he just has like all of these layers of defense on him, because if you put Mortarion on the table, he's like priority alpha for any game. And so making sure that he's able to do something for a couple of turns before he gets gatted down is so important that's probably going to be the best one.
Keep an eye on Revolting Resilient. Like that, like it's in the name. Revoltingly Resilient. And
like super disgustingly good.
Like it's the next level of disgusting resilience. And so I'm pretty sure with his new toughness, the wound break, you know, with that warlord trait specifically and -1 damage, I'm pretty sure he's going to be just fucking fine.
They showed off some stuff for the Crusade side. So if you're a Crusader, there's some custom contagion stuff that you can put on your guys throughout a Crusade campaign. It talks about a few of those. So it's like passing a contagion onto the enemy if one of your units dies. And then like they're infected now, so they suffer mortal wounds at the start of every command phase after that, and some other effects. That's kind of a cool little thing to do for the Crusade side. They talk about the changes to the fetid bloat drones and the flesh mower. So it went to strength +1 -2 AP, 2 flat damage. It's a plague weapon still. The cool thing is each time an attack is made with this weapon, it makes 3 hit rolls instead of 1. So they have something like 12 attacks now with this flesh mower.
And they hit on 3s now.
Yeah.
It looks like a death roller attached to a fucking helicopter.
It is dope.
With two, what are those, the Talos? It looks like they just glued Talos
Yeah,
on.
he has like little biceps.
Yeah, he's jacked. He's swole.
Very, very cool. And of course, plague weapons is our thing, and there's all sorts of ways to buff plague weapons, get rerolls for plague weapons. Like Arch Contaminator is reroll all wounds for plague weapons. So pretty spicy there. Very, very cool. And they also got a points decrease. So the bloat drone with a flesh mower is only 135 points.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like you can still put the range weapons on there, but it definitely seems like the bloat drone flesh mower is the like fast moving close combat counterpart to the slightly slower moving ranged Myphitic Blight Haulers, who have just been running rampant throughout this edition.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a points increase. So they're very close relatively. So the new bloat drone is 135.
Yeah, if you played them both in your army, you're pretty much the same. It's net zero.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went to 140, the haulers. So they got a pretty hefty points increase per model, but they needed one. They're super strong.
Mm-hmm. Having spent some time going over the field manual update since our last podcast and getting obsessed on we had some good discussions today in the tactics class. And I am personally on the record as avabandoning my Defiler project that I put so much time into early.
Yeah. Press F for those defilers.
Yeah. Still, I made them.
18 total hours printing out for you.
Yeah, I spent just more time fucking rolling fucking goddamn tentacles, dog. With my hands. I'm going to paint
I'm sure you'll be able to sell those.
I will paint them at some point, but the reason I didn't paint them was because of how much time it would take, and I wanted to see what would happen. They're still dope. Like, they're really good. The points make sense. I'm pretty sure everything in the Deathguard Codex is going to have disgusting resilience now. Instead of like some things didn't, like, I'm pretty sure, like, or at least demon engines, like rhinos might not, whatever, right? But I'm back on that Plague vs. Crawler dick now. Like, for 165 with the flamers, hitting on 3s now, having more wounds, being toughness 8 probably still. They're really good, I think. They can move around, they can spread apart, they can jump on objectives, still hit on 3s. Hitting on 3s unsupported is better than hitting on 4s rerolling ones. Like,
yeah. And then most of their stuff is plague weapons, so they're rerolling wounds of 1 naturally built in, which is like you have to spend 75 points to have a lieutenant in the Space Marine Codex to get that.
So I'm back on that now. So like I'm back on that. I'm on that Plague Sergeant train because I'm really confident in his abilities.
And so people are asking about the greater bloat drone from Forge World. It's in a very interesting place right now. Stat wise, they're similar. You mean like it's kind of the same platform. They have roughly the same amount of wounds, same toughness. They're 125 points, so they're very points efficient. And off the top of my head, I think their gun is like strength 5, no AP, 1 damage. It's like assault 6, like at 24 inches. I'd have to double check since I haven't actually played them yet. But them being at 125, really nice. And they are a fast mover. And the other thing is that they have the old version of Disgustingly Resilient still. So they're going to be in this weird, like in between place when the codex comes out, unless GW had the forethought to create a PDF that they can just drop as soon as the dex comes out next week. So we'll see, but they're still very cool. So they're really points efficient. They're good for killing light infantry in good amounts. They move really fast, which is great for like snagging objectives and spreading the contagion range and all that fun stuff. So they're worth it. And then the latest news is they talk about the Lord of Virulence a little bit. They give us a little taste where he has this Master of Destruction aura. It's for Plague Company core units within 6. And it says each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack with a plague weapon on an unmodified wound roll of 6, improve the AP of that attack by 1.
But that's terrible. And it's core.
Yeah. So again, we were talking about
Who the
this in
fuck
tactics
gives out
earlier,
a
like-
roll of 6 AP 1? Like, get the fuck. Everyone's whose roll of 6 is like AP 4 rending, dog. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, this is a little weird because they're touting this guy as this like Billy Badass dude who hangs out with like the big guns and the demon engines and kind of directs them. And so, you know, like on paper, he's in Terminator armor. He has a power fist. He has this like double barrel plague spewer thing. So like he can kill on his own pretty okay, you know, okay-ish. But what remains to be seen is like if he has anything besides this master of destruction, because like if this is his one thing, like and he doesn't do anything else, like he's really bad. He might have like a captain reroll, which would be nice. Like that plus this is a reason to take him over like a Chaos Lord or something. But
Most people are praying with their fingers crossed for like a Disco Lord aura +1 to hit for demon engines.
yeah, that would be thematic because I mean like they're really hyping this dude up because it's a new model and they're like, and every time they mention him, they talk about how he's supposed to hang out with the.
If he has that rule, totally fucking a G.
yeah, for sure.
If he has a 6-inch or 7-inch +1 to hit demon engine bubble, that's real good. But right now, if this is what he is, like you said, this guy sucks.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know, so I don't want to like poop.
And he looks
hard on
dumb
it.
too. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah. I like
There's
his
a fucking
helmet, that's
nutsack
about it.
hanging out of his fucking stomach. And it's not even a good one. It's like I sculpted it out of green stuff.
It's very
Like a cartoon. It's just like as if someone, like a child, drew a nutsack.
Let's see. And the other thing is they show off a new stratagem, Blight Bombardment. Basically a Blight version of Orbital Bombardment. So use this stratagem in your command phase. If a Deathguard Warlord from your army is on the battlefield, select 1 point on the battlefield and place a marker. At the start of your next command phase, roll 1d6 for each unit within 6 inches of the center of that marker, adding 1 if the unit is infantry, and subtracting 1 if the unit is character. On a 2 through a 6, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. On a 7, that unit suffers D6 mortal wounds. The marker is then removed. If your warlord has the Lord of Virulence keyword, the stratagem costs 2 CP. Otherwise, it costs 3. You can only use it once.
Another one of these?
Yeah. So this is like...
Lots of great stuff to start with. Some lame stuff at the end there.
Yeah.
Why does GW always show the garbage stratagems?
I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so like they're kind of showing that off, and that's about it. That's all we got so far.
I mean, it's like Rob said earlier. It's like I can't remember a time it wasn't Deathguard previews.
Yeah, I mean, we did get some cool tidbits from the the underground intelligence network that we run. You want to talk about some of that?
I kind of said I wouldn't, so I'm not going to.
Okay, fair enough.
All I can say is it's pretty fucking good.
Oh, there's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's like I would classify as like insubstantial that a lot of people are going to whine about. So that'll be fun to see.
Mm-hmm. I was just saying it's like everything I was hoping for, and I was like, please be this dope. It was that dope.
Oh yeah, I'm very, very excited for what's coming down the pipe. If you have Deathguard, be excited. It's going to be cool. If you don't have Deathguard and you're a Chaos player, think about picking it up. A lot of cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
Well,
if you're not playing Deathguard, then fuck you.
If Deathguard's this good, then when Chaos comes out, it'll be even better.
Yeah, looking forward to when Deathguard is the scrubs of Chaos.
I really like how they're bringing back this mechanic of like getting better as the turns go by, because it can help mitigate like losing units as the turns goes by. So I'd like to see this in other places in the 40K factions.
I think it's a really tidy place to tuck certain like narrative cheat codes into certain factions. I think it's well done. But there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot to pour over. With all the points changes, and something I found interesting. And this is like, I'm not gonna linger on this. Is that I've been fucking scrolling around the shit app, and I noticed that like a lot of the points in the field manual are like in my Deathguard now, are in my actual like I'm in there making army lists, and I'm like going by making spreadsheets, looking at the new points that they put out, and I'm like, they're already in my app. Right now, the app doesn't.
They said they would update it within a day.
Well, it's crazy because the app is bad at totaling the numbers. I've been cross-referencing it with my spreadsheets, and it's terrible sometimes. Like, I'm like, oh, shit, I only have 2 points left. It's like, my spreadsheet does have 106 points left, and I'm like double-checking. All the numbers are literally identical except the total. And I'm like, okay, do I have assigned units doing everything? I was like, what the fuck? But I find it interesting that the Deathguard Codex in here is the old one, right? But it's getting updated with the new points. And then, theoretically, when the new Deathguard Codex drops, this one is the old one now, right? I'd have to buy the new one, put the code in to access it. But I'm like, does the old one go away? Because I'm like,
yes.
Yeah.
I can answer that.
Yeah.
The old one does go away.
So, okay. So like that. Okay. So it's kind of like a little sneak peek because I'm able to make my modern Deathguard army list right now, but that'll vanish. But it's fun. Will it totally vanish? Because also I don't.
Yeah, it's totally gone. Like my Necron Codex is the new Necron Codex. There's no old stuff.
Oh, but did you buy it and then put the code in?
Yes.
Okay, I'm wondering if what if you didn't buy it and put the code in? Would it just be the old?
Then
code?
you can't access it. It won't show you everything.
Well, but we'll show you the points because I'm seeing points from things that I don't own, like And I'm like,
I don't know because after the. Recently, I think it was last month, when they were wanting everybody to beta test it, they opened up the data sheets on a lot of stuff that you were not required to like actually own the codex for.
That's what I was going to say. I think this is just one of those quirks about it being in like an extended beta test, and that's temporary.
It makes sense. It seems like a quirk because I'm able to see like the Greater Blight Drone, and it's like, oh, you don't own this. You have to go here to buy it, but I can see the points. I can't see the rules.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it makes sense. It's because it's in like beta. Mm-hmm. Just give me a shopping cart. Come on, guys. Fuck.
They really do need to add a la carte buying to that app.
Let me buy.
I would really like to be
It's so silly.
fly on the wall in those meetings. 'Cause I'm just like, man, you guys have an app that has been working for years. That has that functionality. Why would you not just use the same app and reskin it to 40?
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't make fucking sense. Like, I don't understand. Like, they probably spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, like, developing this app with, like, third party and, like, hiring people to do all of this work and all the man hours and everything. And I'm just like, guys, you already had an app. Like, why? And then it doesn't work.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm happy with the way I'm with the workflow now that I'm getting out of it for cross-reference. But like I said, I'd say half the time, it's totaling the numbers incorrectly. So it's like,
you should go and tell them that.
Hey,
like,
right.
Fill out the thing and say, hey, this is this totally numbers.
Like I'm looking at like all the sections where it's like 600 points in troops, 300 points in this, and then that. I'm like, okay, add all those numbers together, like my spreadsheet did. That's the number. You're telling me a different number every fucking time, no matter like not every
that'll get you losing some tournaments.
Oh yeah, like they're telling me I only have like 1 point left in my army. Oh, they're doing it back. I'm gonna lose because I'm underpointed, Doug. They're like, oh, you're almost filled up, and like literally, I'm like, I have 100 fucking points left, dude.
That's kind of a big deal.
I mean, you did register the app, so maybe they know it's you and they're just fucking.
Oh, so I have my own intern now, like Haspil has, like JJ at Bad Robot. Someone just assigned to troll mine. Dicks.
Oh, welcome to your training day.
Wouldn't put past them. Well, I think we did a good job actually filling this show up with content, despite having only just a little bit of content. Rob?
The Long War, mostly okay-ish.
We get it done.
Haspil, take us out of here.
There, I have you. You're completely dished. Do you not know that in the service, one must always choose the lesser of two weevils.